We will call to order the December 14th, 2023 Danby Select Board meeting. Will you please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Abbott. Powers. Fuller.
Present.
Haines.
Here.
Under.
Present. Beth, the procedure for remote access.
Remote access to select board meetings, while not required by law, is offered in order to encourage access and participation for as many of our town's citizens as possible. It is understood that a select board meeting is a meeting open to the public, but not a public meeting per se. Business is conducted and votes are cast by board members. Therefore, public attendees, in person or remote, who wish to comment on an agenda action item when it is addressed in the course of the meeting, should indicate such intention during the public comment period at the beginning of the meeting. To maintain order as well as the efficiency of the meeting, the rules for remote attendee participation are: remote attendees will be muted by online host upon joining the meeting, remaining so unless recognized to speak. Intention or desire to speak in order to comment or ask questions will be indicated by the use of the hand-raising function of the remote platform. People will be recognized in the order in which the hand-raising function is activated. The online host will alert the chair to the presence of remote questions or comments. Remote participants, when recognized, will unmute their device and identify themselves with clearly spoken first and last name. Comment or question will be limited to 2 to 3 minutes, after which participant will be muted. This time limit will apply to in-person participants as well. General ground rules concerning decorum remains the same as that which is expected of citizens, guests, and board members attending in person. Namely, the speaker will not be interrupted and will not interrupt other speakers. The speaker will treat the proceedings and other speakers with dignity and respect, addressing the issue and not personalities. Procedures for use of the online platform and the above standards will be reviewed at the beginning of each meeting. Done deal.
And who do we have joining us this evening?
We have Annette Smith, Chris Hardaway and Terry Parker, Doug White, Gary Durr, Sharon White, and someone on a phone.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to set the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll move right into public comment, and we have Margo Stone.
I'm here because I want to know what the winter maintenance policies are about the road crew getting out, and what time they're supposed to be out, and how it's going to work this winter. I've had 2 mornings, which I have to leave my house at 4 a.m., and the roads have been dangerous. I waited over by the Four Corners Church. I left my house before 4. I sat there till 5 o'clock and nobody was around. So I headed on down through because I have to be at work. I want to know what's happening with the maintenance of the winter roads. I don't expect them to be clear, but I expect them to be so we can pass through there. It was dangerous.
So you're out there at 4,
I'm out there at 4. I leave my house at 4 a.m.
and you guys have been leaving at 5.
We have been leaving at 5 so that we're ahead of the buses enough so that the buses have been on good roads.
I don't expect to be clear, but I expect to be able to make it to work.
Well,
Our tax dollars pay your salaries, and I expect to be able to get. I don't expect to be clear. But the last 2, not this last storm, but the 2 storms before that, the roads were very dangerous. I don't have a job where I can't be there.
Now, which way do you come, Margo? Over this way, or do you go out through Pollock?
I come this way only because Bill's ahead of me, so I know if I'm alone, I don't have cell service. And if I went the other way, I couldn't make Sergeant's Hill.
Right. No. Well, the whole intent of blacktopping down the hill of Lily Hill was to get you to work easier.
Well, it didn't, that doesn't, I mean, I didn't have any problem on my road. It was the main roads that I had problems on. And I saw cars traveling and having trouble getting over the hill and over the bank. And I don't think that's fair.
Right. No, I mean, I guess we've got to figure out if 4 is the optimum time to get out. I mean, I would think that that would be the earliest.
Well, I don't care, as long as I know that there's somebody out there.
Right.
I mean, there's a family member that has to get to her son's by that time, and she didn't make it. But I have to be to work. I have to open the building.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no reason we can't start the road crew an hour earlier in storms, so.
I guess the other thing I don't understand is why can't one of you guys have a truck up there in the Four Corners to come start up to the Four Corners and leave one down here? I don't understand why that won't work for you guys.
Well, the only problem is with salt, Margo.
Well, a plow. All I'm asking for is it to be plowed so I can get up over. Yeah, I have all-wheel drive. I don't mind driving along, but I don't want to be pulled all over the place with this slug.
Right.
And I don't think it's unfair to ask that we have some safe roads.
Yeah, no, and I think they're doing a good job after you're at work
Yeah.
plowing. And that's the thing is that extra hour, you know, until you brought it to our attention or right now. I mean, I've only been here 58 years myself, Margo, and I've worked on this crew, and 4 was a little on the front side that I ever went out plowing, you know.
Well, it didn't used to be that way, I'm sorry.
I mean, when I plowed for the town, which I plowed many a years for,
Okay.
I never, we were always more 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Well, it's
So-
more like 3 o'clock.
You
last
plowed for the
year-
town?
My father plowed for the town of Danby, and it was more like all night long or 3
I
days.
plowed with your dad as
And
well.
your father stayed.
And I
right
plowed
there.
with him too, so I do
You're
remember.
wrong on that one.
Steve?
So last year, when we knew there was a bigger storm coming, unless it was brutally cold, Larry and I each took a truck home. And we started at 4 from our houses. These last 2 storms, the first one, I know was my fault, because when I treated the hill before that, I'd used a mix of sand and salt that I expected was going to cover it enough for the night, but we got more snow than I had expected.
And I understand that also. I mean, I was on the select board for a lot of years. I know how that goes. But people gotta be safe out there.
So I guess you want to starting at 4 on storms?
Well, typically what's been happening this year is I get up at 3:30 and I check the roads, and then if I think we need to start early, I call everybody. I've been starting at 5, so we're ahead of the buses, but if we need to start earlier, I will start the first truck at 4.
That's all I can ask. Fair enough.
And you will be taking trucks home when you anticipate.
When I anticipate there's a storm, or when,
Right.
if it's the end of the night when we're saying that's it, we're done for the day, if it's not too cold, Larry and I will be both taking trucks home. That way we can start from our houses like we
Right.
did last winter.
Right.
But if it's too cold, I can't have the material freezing in the truck, and that goes for salt as well. At least if on really cold days, we can preload the salt and have the trucks in the garage, and we don't have to worry about it freezing to the side of the truck. But back to it,
So if they're going by 4, you feel you should be able to get to work in time?
I'll wait. You know, if I know they're So
Okay.
I just expected by 5, I'd see somebody at Danby Four Corners when I sat there at the church,
No, and I don't blame you. By 5, you should.
and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anybody. There was a truck that went ahead of me that had big tires, and I followed him. And there was nobody at this garage at 5 o'clock. Nobody. So that time, they did not start at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Because I sat there for over an hour at that church waiting for somebody. And then I went when this truck went ahead of me. And at 5 o'clock, there was nobody at this garage.
Usually at 5 o'clock, they go by my house on Main
But
Street.
there was
so-
nobody here.
Yeah, but they might have been out.
No, there was nobody here. There was no cars, no nothing.
Oh,
All right. No, I mean, I don't see any reason we can't up it till 4 if it
I
helps.
have no problem with that. I really don't. But, you know, I don't have a problem, and I'm not here to cause any problems, but it's frustrating when you sit for till 5 o'clock and then you come down through here and there's nobody here.
Right. No.
And I thank you.
All right. Thank
And I
you.
know it's a thankless job. And I'm really sorry, it just frustrated me so much that I needed to come and vent, but I know it's not an easy task, by no means, and you guys are, it's tough out there when it's snowing and slippery and stuff. And-
No, but I mean, there's no reason if it makes a difference. I mean, we can get the crew going an hour earlier in storms. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Margo.
Margo. It's good seeing you.
Do we have other public comment? Anybody on?
No.
Okay, thank you. We'll close the public section and I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of November 9th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the November 9th minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, next we have a motion to ratify the approved Vermont CCB applications S2164 and S6129. And you have been provided with the details of that via email.
I'll make the motion.
Motion is made. Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, what is our actual, I mean, we've gone over this before. What power does the board actually have? Can we deny applications?
I suppose we could deny it, but,
And I'm not saying these
Right. The
in
state has
particular.
approved it. The state monitors what goes on. They test the quality. They have all of the different guidelines, which you saw in the email, the things
See,
that they
and
check.
my concern is what controls because I can tell you one thing, there's houses right in the village that the weed smell that they're growing it's the stench. And no one should have to live next to a house so for us to just.
Well, that sounds
random-
like a private individual. That's
No.
not a commercial operation like
Yeah,
this.
but I'm saying, so what's stopping a commercial operation from doing the same
Well, then
thing?
they're in violation of state law.
Well, what's this, no, I'm saying, so say somebody next to, and I don't have to use the village, but next to a group of houses applies for the permit for commercial grow.
They
What
have
I
to
mean-
meet these requirements that the state sets out.
Yeah, but they don't have any that actually keep you from being next to another house.
No, nothing about zoning.
So, and I know I'm not the expert on it, but I'm just wondering what our possibilities are here if we have 30 grow places now, I mean, and the funny thing I find with this is they want to keep them secretive, so the state wants to actually encourage businesses that they feel they have to keep secret. It says clearly in there
There's
that we're not
anonymity
supposed to.
so that these people are not subject to potential burglaries and so forth?
So it's an illicit operation if it's potential. I mean, most businesses want to be publicized. I mean, I'm very happy for people to know that we're in business, and we employ. I mean, it's, I find it absurd that we have no real control over this.
You have a control of denying the license if you feel that it's detrimental.
So
And
we
then-
can deny the license.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can, what did it say? Pursuant to the state law, most cannabis establishment application materials are confidential. The board, that's us, sharing some of the application information in this document to facilitate the local commission's licensing review. The board asks that you abide by the state law and maintain the confidentiality of this information. The local control commission may request further information about the proposed establishment.
Doesn't say we can deny it. But
I think if we had objections, we could, say it's interfering with the neighbor's health and welfare or something to that effect.
And it isn't these here that I'm just concerned how many
Yeah,
commercial
in the future.
operations we're gonna have, and that's gonna be our, Vermont's primary goal is to grow weed, but,
Any other discussion? Okay, there's a motion made and seconded to approve these two applications. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
nay.
Okay, 2 yes, 1 no. And then we have the dog ordinance. I assume that everybody has read this.
I read it, and I don't know, did you guys have any tweaks that you wanted to add to it? I know Mount Tabor just adopted one, and they had tweaked theirs a little bit. Just to not make it as generic as we did. And I didn't actually, I mean,
Well, our attorney drafted it based on his experiences over the years and the applicable laws, and it turns out that we're one of a real minority of towns that does not have a dog ordinance.
so Mount Tabor must have been the other one because they were just
There's
adopting
probably
this.
3 to 5 others out there across the state as
Yeah,
well.
well, it's funny how there's two next door to each other, but,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm good with it. I think I would have rather, but,
And the point is, if we don't have this, the sheriff cannot do anything. It's just like if we didn't
Right.
have speeding ordinances, he couldn't give you a ticket for going 50 on a road that somebody said, well, that should only be 25.
I make the motion.
Okay, motion is
Second.
made. Is there a second? Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then
Is it really long, or could you read it aloud?
it's really long.
Oh, it's really long. Is it posted on the town website?
I thought that it was.
I hope it would be so everyone knew what.
It's 4 pages.
Because it was an issue that came up at the last meeting.
Well, it was an issue that came up at the last meeting. Let me briefly say that it covers collars, licenses, neglected dogs, nuisance dogs, potentially vicious dogs, impoundment, and there are civil penalties. Listed first offense is $100, second offense is $200, third offense is $300, fourth offense, guess how much?
It's currently not on the website. is, it's not
It's not
easily found.
on there. It covers other laws. The ordinance is in addition to any other laws that the town might have. If any section of this ordinance is held by a court of competent jurisdiction to be invalid, such finding shall not invalidate any other part of the ordinance. And the effective date would be 60 days from adoption.
Okay, and I do have a question here. Does it require a leash or restraint?
Yes.
So we don't have a.
Dogs running at large means a dog off the premises of the owner and not under the control of the owner, a member of the owner's family, or an agent of the owner, either by leash, cord, chain, or otherwise, within control of such person, so that the dog may not cause injury, damage, disturbance, or annoyance.
And is the sheriff then the person who is
Violating.
in charge of picking up that dog that's out of
Yes.
control, that's off the person's
Yes.
premises? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the motion passes, and now I will ask you to please sign this.
And this one goes into effect immediately?
Now, this goes into effect in 60 days. So there is a statutory time requirement. So we adopt the ordinance. Then the ordinance is entered into the minutes, and within 14 days of adoption by the select board, the full text or a concise summary is published in the newspaper and will be on the website stating the name of the municipality, et cetera, where the text may be examined and the citizen's right to petition for a vote on the ordinance. So if I believe it's 7% of the registered voters said we don't think you should have an ordinance, they have the opportunity to present the select board with a petition, and then it would go on to a special meeting, or probably the way this timeline works, the town meeting in March. Okay, so we will get that published. And then we need an executive session for a personnel matter. So what is the correct time here?
7:24.
I'll entertain a motion to go
I'll make
into
the motion.
executive
I'll
session.
second it.
All in favor? Aye. 7:43.
And I have a question from Chris Hardaway.
Hi guys, just wondering why we can't have an executive session at the end of the meeting instead of in the middle.
The reason for that was the treasurer needed direction for her report. Okay, so now we move on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, so, during the last meeting, we talked about, putting some of our money into CDs or kind of investing. So I reached out to NNT and, to give you guys that. Our contact is recommending that we do US Treasury bills. And I do not know that process yet, but she is going to, meet with me and have a conversation about it. So I just wanted to confirm how much money, like, have us agree how much money is available to be tied up for 6 months before I actually do it.
Well, what are you recommending?
We talked about putting 500,000 into either a CD or treasury bills.
And you don't see that being a problem for us being able to meet our monthly obligations?
Right now in the highway fund, there's 1.4. So I wanted to see
So if you take some of like the retreat money and whatnot, that isn't gonna get used over the winter
Right.
time months and whatnot.
And you don't know how you're gonna stagger them or how you're gonna do them yet. You haven't had a meeting where you, I mean, we're gonna do all 6 month in different, or did you wanna do more and then do maybe, we have options of 30 days, probably,
If you, look at this sheet I gave you guys, it just shows, the interest rate even the month, and the yield is 5.27, 3 months is 5.3.
And were you
No,
looking
it's
to
all
put
my
it
stuff.
all one shot into one bill, or were you going to do like part of it in a 3 month, part of it in a 6 month?
We can spread it out, however you guys recommend. I just need to know like what the, if you have any big purchases, and we can definitely do like maybe some 1 month ones and.
well, the only thing that we know.
Body that hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, no, and that's the only thing that we do have coming up is the truck is gonna be,
That's gonna be about 250,000.
right. But I was wondering if we wanted to commit more than the 500 and go with like maybe some, not just 6 month ones, because they've got some decent, 3 month, they got some real good, even 30-day ones. Which I'm surprised still, because I would think we're gonna see these drop. But I guess we need, I'm not sure what you feel your need for fluidity.
Well, I was thinking of doing like a 3 month, put some money in a 3 month, maybe a 4 month and a 5 month, and kind of spread it out that way.
Yeah, I mean, we can commit. And it's tough on that quick a thing to figure out what you're gonna need. I mean, the only thing we know we're gonna need is obviously our salt, truck, payroll, fuel.
So I'd probably do even more for like even just a month.
Yeah, and that's the thing is without going through every line item, I mean, obviously, using the 1 month ones, you could probably go a little more because
We'd have the opportunity.
But I'd kinda like to see you, use like the 6 month.
yeah, because
there's-
those rates are probably gonna drop,
Right.
And,
especially in the next month.
Sarah did mention that, these rates will fluctuate until we actually lock in, but as of the 27th, this is what they were.
Right. So, Brad's got a good point is you may see them drop a full point here in the next month.
So do you want me to?
So maybe we should commit the 500, like you said, for the 6 month. And then you could put some more into some shorter.
Okay. And are you guys okay with me doing another 500,000 in the shorter?
Yeah.
And that'll leave us plenty of.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think if you're comfortable with it, Jennifer, we'll, hold the discussion on coverage for out-of-work employees till next month.
Yeah, that
And give
sounds
us a little more time to work that out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, anything else, Jennifer?
That's all I have.
Thank you. And now we've been keeping Mr. Jepson waiting patiently.
This, we actually talked about you while you were out.
Aha, that's what happens.
That was a good thing. Lyle Jepson, I'm Executive Director of the Chamber of Economic Development. I'm here with Olivia Lyons, who is our Communications and Marketing Manager. You allow us some time each year to come back and tell you how we're doing on our regional marketing initiative. And we're here to request that you allow us to go on your ballot again for $1,300 that would be a contribution towards our efforts.
Did you get a letter in to us for that?
Generally, you say yes, put a letter in, and then I talk to Janice, and she
Just puts it down.
puts in whatever.
Yeah, and I mean,
Have you communicated with her? 'Cause I
Yes,
know
yeah, and
she's-
she's
okay.
the one that got us on the agenda, I think,
Okay.
for tonight, yeah. And I did send in an annual report for her to put in your town report. But before we go there, I just did want to say that it was nice the way you start your meeting, which is very clear with process and who speaks and how they speak and how you kind of connect. We've been at some meetings where maybe it's not quite as clear on how people are expected to do what they need to do, and so it's nice to see that. And you're not afraid to make decisions, even though now you're going to have to get up at 3 o'clock, thank you very much. But you're not afraid to make decisions and listen to the public, so thank you for that. So we do have some information we'd like to give you each year. We come around and we say, let us show you how the funding that you have supported us with is being spent, how much money we need for the coming year or are requesting. And Olivia is our expert because Olivia's role is to oversee the regional marketing initiative. And so she's going to just talk you through some things. And you might say, well, why are we doing this? And each year I say basically the same thing, which is our businesses, and we represent about 375 businesses, and there are far more out there. They're all in the same boat, and they continue to be in the same boat, which is we need skilled employees. And we don't have enough skilled employees, and people are starting to get as old as me, and they're looking at retirement, and we need people to replace me. And so that's why we hire people who are a little younger, and we bring them in, and what Olivia does is she specifically targets specific, we'll say, ages and skill sets and places around the United States to encourage people to come and move here. And so she has some statistics she'll walk you through, and this is funded in large part by businesses that are looking for those employees and municipalities like yourself, and we appreciate that. And you've been with us since the very beginning, and this is year 8, and so we appreciate that as well. It allows us to do advanced planning. It's a 10-year plan, and we're going to look at it after 10 years, and it'll probably, we'll come back to you in the 11th year, and we'll say, now this is a 20-year plan, because you never stop marketing, you just keep marketing. So, some statistics.
Yes, so I won't read this word by word, but Real Rutland Concierge Program fact sheet. Leads, those are anyone who has reached out to us through the Real Rutland program and said, hey, I'm interested in Rutland County, I'm interested in Vermont, can you please tell me more? 2021, we had 664 people reach out. 2022, 562. So far this year, we've had 1,493. This is because we've been able to put so much more into marketing. We started doing weekend getaways, which are these big, just about fully inclusive events where we have families come, they stay in Rutland County, they do countywide scavenger hunts, they come down to the Danby, Mount Tabor Civil War statue and the Veterans Memorial, and they really come here with a focus on where can I see myself relocating, moving here, and having my family, having a business, contributing to the community, and that's really helped our numbers and just get more knowledge about Vermont out there across the US. So for people who have actually moved here, 2021, we had 86 people. That was when COVID, people were still escaping. 47 people moved in 2022. It was expensive. Housing was an issue. So far this year, we've had 65 people move. There's one more in the process of moving this year, and then there are 8 people who are in the process of moving next year. One of the most recent couples who moved through the program actually moved to Danby in November from Massachusetts. So we know that it's working. We're targeting primarily, we want to see younger people who have energy and want to bring more to their community, have families, really contribute. And they have all kinds of skilled skills that they're bringing to the area.
And you'll see some of the businesses that are benefiting from this. You'll see the towns that we know people have moved to, and we know there are other people moving here, but they don't need our permission to tell us. The numbers that we have are just those that have communicated with our concierge volunteers, and so we know that they're using our program. You'll see down at the bottom businesses that are supporting this as well. And the reason they're coming out to the memorial out here and the Civil War monument is because they get a prize if they go around the county and they take pictures in all the different towns. And that's how we get them to go to every town, and then they get a prize at the end if they show us pictures of where they've been. You'll also see how we spend our money. On the right-hand side, there's a budget, revenue and expenditures. You'll see on the right-hand side what I also sent to Janice about things happening around the county. You'll see some other things that we're doing. We just opened the Hub Co-works, which is a 22,000 square foot co-working facility, where we're also building a business incubator, and we're hoping to attract businesses from around the U.S. to come and work out of that location and gain support from us. And then on the other side here, where it says the life you were meant for, this is actually a customized document, so businesses can contact us and say, like the Rutland Mall owners contacted us, the Diamond Run Mall owners, and said, hey, we may have somebody who would like to come. So we said, all right, then we're going to put something together for you. And so not in this packet are the traffic patterns that going past Route 7 and Route 4, so we can tell them how many cars have been driving through. We have studies that show purchase bleed, so that we can show how much money is being spent in Glens Falls or in Burlington instead of here from people who live in the Rutland region. And so if you had certain businesses here, that money would be spent here. And so those are the types of documents that we can customize. They specifically want to know, well, what's the fun stuff that's going on here? Show us some things that are happening, and that's why you see the pictures that are in this right here. So each year we come to you and we thank you for your support. The townsfolk here have been very generous in voting yes on the $1,300 request each year. We hope that that would happen again. We want to come with statistics and show you that we just don't come once. We'll come back whenever you want us to come back and talk about it. It's your money. We want you to know how it's being spent. And we're here for any questions you may have.
Are there questions?
I'm just wondering, are people having any difficulty finding homes to buy? And
Every day. Yes. So that
so there
is
is still a housing for newcomers, because I know in the academic area, new professors hired can't find the place to live.
if you have $750,000 in your back
What's
pocket,
that?
you can find a house.
She must
If you are looking for the house that's $200,000 to $400,000, you are going to have a hard time. So that's another committee that we have that is working on trying to come up with really market rate housing. There is housing out there for low income, and there is housing for someone who has $2 million. But there is that middle level that is very difficult to find a home.
It's kind of a wide middle level.
It's a very wide middle level.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of people coming through the program, they're not, I'm moving there tomorrow. They're reaching out and saying, maybe within a year I'd like to move. So they have time. A lot of them have some flexibility too. So if a house comes on the market that they can't say no to, then I guess we're moving sooner than we thought, but.
And when they come here, we hook them up with realtors, and they go around and they talk about where they would like to be.
I was going to ask if you were expediting that as part of your mission. Yeah.
And childcare is another question they have. It's not going to surprise you that the people that are looking to come here are from places where it may be a little more dangerous than it is here, where it's hot for 90 days, where it's over 110 degrees for 90 days out of the year, where there's fires. They're looking for a safe place to be. Olivia's got it nailed when it comes to what communities and cities and states to look at and send all of our social media to, and it's working. Yeah. When they come here, we'll entertain them, and we'll take them out for dinner or a drink, and we'll show them around, and we'll introduce them to realtors. They go visit schools. So it's kind of soup to nuts. And we get all those questions that we would never think about, like, what are winter tires anyway? And what's fuel oil? We use natural gas, and so we kind of have to talk them through all the different things that we know about, but that they really don't. Somebody's calling Brad saying, would you shut them off, please?
We're gonna teach him how to silence his phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how unsavvy I am when it comes to technology.
Add it to the January
We can
agenda.
fix it.
But when you got family stuff going on, you kind of want to pay attention to it.
Sorry. Okay. So if you have questions, we can answer those or make up answers. And if your direction is please connect with Janice and make sure she has whatever she needs, we can do that too.
It sounds like you have done that, right? You get it?
I just want to make sure I send the language that she's looking for, and maybe I have done that, and I'm so old I forgot.
Well, hang on 1 minute. I've got the whole folder here. Chamber and Economic Development. And you are requesting $1,300. You're on the list.
No, thank you for coming in too. We always like seeing you around this time of year, so.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And if we don't offend you, we probably will leave.
That's a,
fine.
Not offend us.
you're the only ones that showed up that've been nice to us today. So.
We could start going.
And again, thank you for getting up at 3 in the morning. So, have a good night.
Okay, thank you, Lyle.
Nice job, Olivia.
And next we have the road commissioner's report.
All right, you want to give me 2 or 3 other? Obviously, we're into our winter season now. I think one of the biggest issues that we're gonna probably run into is the freeze-thaw cycles that are going on. And it's gonna be pretty tough to address mud seasons 13 times if they, I'm sure you've had one already up at your, and I think that's the biggest concern people have had lately is the roads that are breaking up and then hardening up, and there's no good solution for it except for hoping that we can get the roads to either freeze in or stay thawed. And I'm assuming that in January, hopefully they freeze in for us, and we are gonna try to next week, if weather works, is maybe touch up a few spots that are real bad. That's the only, and hopefully Tuesday, if the weather cooperates, we're gonna hit a couple spots with the grader. I think the biggest complaints I've heard are the dirt roads and how they're breaking up and rutting up and potholing up so quickly this year already. We haven't had a hard winter yet. That's been the good thing is we're doing good with our salt budget so far, Steve. But other than that, I think our biggest things that we're gonna probably get into with, if we're not fighting storms, we'll be back onto our brush cutting events. And hopefully the winter goes by without any major events. That's the only thing I've got for.
And I would say I've had a number of compliments on the brush cutting events, so I think we're doing a great job there. Thanks, Steve.
We're trying.
Yeah, and the thing is, it is tough some days when you're thinking you've got time and when you don't have time because these stupid snowstorms. I mean, just the.
Yeah, where did the one come from yesterday?
Yeah, and that's I mean, one thing that I was gonna make a comment on, but it's more of a budgetary thing, is our salt's up 30%. So either we've got to start raising our salt budgets, which is already exorbitantly high, 30% more, or we're gonna have to cut back on salt in 30%. And I don't think anybody, as Margo probably pointed out, as a representative of the general public, that we're gonna wanna cut back on our winter maintenance. So that is an issue that we're all gonna be going forward with. I think that's the only significant thing that I see for increasing that is, I mean, a load of salt goes one storm. After that, you burn $2,000. And actually it was 2,500, is it? And somewhere, it's pretty pricey. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that we want to cut back on salt, but I'm very hard on these guys about being conservative on salt. And so we don't want to sacrifice the safety, but we do want to try to save the budgets the best we can, because all it takes is, you know, a small storm like last night. And did you guys use a full load in that storm?
I used 2/3 of a load of that on the last night's storm.
Yeah. And that was just a squall blowing through, so.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.